Hello, this is Jurgy Man with Magic Mike and Lucky Liv. Today is Wednesday, July 15th, and this is the Sports Executioner Handicapping Show. We like to say football handicapping show, but it's not always about football because there was a soccer game that just ended a little bit ago. We'll talk about that a little bit. Anyway, on today's show, we have some great content. First of all, we're going to talk a little bit about college football, the conferences that are being forgotten. Magic Mike has a piece on the edge. Liv here interjects throughout the program. She's very smart, knows a lot about everything we're talking about. And if she doesn't, she asks us, which is great. So we're great to have this show get started. So Mike and Liv, I just want to tell you guys something, because I'm the college football guy in this show. And one of the things that I find interesting when we're kind of entering the college football season, what is different from last year to this year? So here's one of the first things. Last year we had 134 teams in college football. This year we had 138.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened? We had 4 teams that were in Division 2 move up to Division 1. And it kind of changed the landscape a little bit. We got 138 college football teams. Now, what does that mean if I'm a sports handicapper? Sports bettor. NFL has 32 teams. And that means every weekend, Atlanta Hawks, they're going to play
Falcons.
Atlanta Falcons. Oh, my God. How could I blow that? Atlanta Falcons are playing the New York Giants. Everybody in New York City, city of 20 million, knows everything about that game. Everybody down in Atlanta, city of about 6 million, knows everything about that game. But when you have University of Charlotte playing Navy, who knows anything about that game? What does that mean? That's an advantage to the handicapper. Because if you don't know anything about those two teams, you can take advantage that the book paper doesn't have. Okay? And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. By the way, just a little note on the World Cup. So we just ended the Argentina-England game. England was winning throughout the game. They lost 2-1. Dramatic. I find myself for the first time in my life, sports fans out there, talking about soccer. I talked about it. I was in Las Vegas this last weekend. Some of you saw the clips. They went viral. I went over to the Circa Sportsbook, which is amazing. And by the way, you need some cash to stay at the Circa on the weekend. You need about $450 a night.
It looks beautiful.
It is beautiful. And just to get into the pool. Now, so listen, you go up there and you say, hey, listen, I'd like to go out to the pool. Normally they say, well, their pool's that way. They say, well, are you a guest? No, I'm not a guest. Okay, that's $80. I said, what do I get for my $80? You get a towel. Okay, so I get the towel and I go out there to the pool and I said, okay, where do I get to sit? I paid $80. I must have a chair. They said, no chair. You have to find a chair. Any one of those lounge chairs out there. And I said, okay, they don't have a towel on them, you can take. So I look, and what do I see? A towel on every lounge chair. I thought, what the heck? I said, okay, so I paid $80. Maybe I'll have to buy a chair from somebody else, okay? But the place was crazy, and they love their sports at the Circa. And I know you guys, my partners, want to stay there. So we need to make some money on this show by betting Sports Executioner picks, and then we can afford to go to Circa first class, stay in a nice room, get a nice little cabana at the pool. So we're going to do that. Okay, with that, I'd like to just talk about, mention the World Cup. So we have on Sunday, we do have, not England, we have Argentina playing Spain. And Spain is not France. France lost. And England lost, both the two favorites. So keep that in mind, Sports Executioner. One of the things that the Sports Executioner is really good at is taking the dogs. These were not necessarily dogs, but Argentina and Spain were not the favorites to be playing for the World Cup. Okay? Okay, I'm going to just bring up one little topic, and then we're going to get back to it in a minute. But there are 138 college football teams. There are 4 conferences that everybody likes to talk about. It's the Big Ten, which are 18 teams. We have the Big 12, which there are 16 teams. We have the SEC, which there are 16 teams, and we have ACC. Oddballs out. They have 17 teams. Okay, that's 67 teams that basically constitute 80% of the money bet every weekend in every sports book in America. So what's the other 20% being bet on? The other 71 teams. One of the things we're going to cover today is a few of the other 71 teams where I think there's opportunity for us to make money.
Indeed.
And this show is all about making money.
So we have a newer segment called The Edge where Magic Mike is going to give us his insights into what he looks at as a handicapper in the NFL. So what do you have for us this week?
We got a lot this week, folks. We've got, I'm going to go through the top 10 against the spread teams coming into 2026. A cheat sheet. Okay, last week we talked about 2025, so we got some great teams that we're going to talk about in a minute. But you can check us out on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, TikTok, Facebook. I think we're on Reddit. I'm on X at Magic Mike SC. And welcome, folks, to the NFL waiting period. While others sleep, we're working, right? We've got 56 days, 2 hours, 22 minutes, 55 seconds until game one of the regular season. That'll be in Lumen Field. It's Pats at Seattle.
Okay, that's a good one.
It's going to be a great game, yeah. And remember,
that's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday game, so we actually have games on every day of the week except Tuesday this year.
Has there ever been a Wednesday NFL game?
First time.
First time.
Yeah,
Wednesday NFL.
Yep. So that's going to be September 9th, 5:20 p.m. on NBC, Peacock, and Telemundo. So pretty cool. Rematch of the Super Bowl. That hasn't happened in a while. So line open up at -3.5, right? And remember, the Seahawks won 29-13 of Super Bowl.
No, I got you.
So we'll see what happens. But yeah, but we're the sharps, guys, number one handicappers in the world for what we do between college and NFL. Look at a lot of things. Just quick recap: betting splits, against the spread numbers, faves versus dogs, rest advantage, travel, turf, hotels, refs, weather, cheerleaders, social life, etc. So in our line of work, we have to be sponges, right? Absorb everything. Try to get as much information as humanly possible and digest it. Are the betting public, are they wrong? Frankly, they probably are, right, Jurgy?
Yeah. And by the way, that cheerleader portion really has a big weight in our selection.
You can.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I have to throw that in. I can't believe you threw cheerleaders
Yeah,
in.
cheerleaders. Yeah, so
having an effect on the game. Michael, you're gonna have to explain that one to me because that's a new one for me.
Okay.
Well, unless it's after hours.
If anyone's ever watched a Dallas game, people like the cheerleaders.
Yeah, okay. I got you.
All right. So yeah, and the best value typically comes before the betting public knows you're right. So that's what we try to do. But anyways, top 10 cheat sheet for 2026 against the spread. Seattle Seahawks, 15-5 against the spread last year. I like them again this year. They do have a tougher schedule, Jurgy, 22nd hardest. Jacksonville Jaguars, I really like them. They went 12-6 last year. 15th hardest schedule. Some of the teams I like, Detroit. Now, 2 years ago, we rode Detroit.
Yep.
We rode Washington.
Rode them to the ground.
And last year, they didn't do very well against the spread, right? Detroit was 8-9 against the spread. So we looked at other teams like the Rams and the Seahawks, and they did very well. Carolina did very well. We also like Houston Texans. New England has a pretty easy schedule. They're 12th easiest schedule. But then I look at teams like the Saints, the second easiest schedule. I look at Detroit. They've got the easiest schedule, right?
What do you mean by easiest schedule?
So in terms of who they're playing, right? So they're playing teams that won roughly 55% of their games last year, right? So they're playing tougher teams, right? So they rank it. They also look at travel, like the Niners they're flying 38,000 miles. So the Rams have a tough schedule. They're ranked 28th. So I don't really think the Rams are going to do as well as we think they are. But with Myles Garrett, you never know. But those travel with no rest days off. In between, it can really
the Rams have the second largest travel schedule behind the 49ers. And of course, they both open up in Australia for the first game, which is the first time we've ever played in Australia.
Oh my gosh.
It's kind of interesting.
So I like Detroit. Just real quick. My sleeper favorites are the Saints, the Vikings, the Patriots, the Jags. I really like those. And I'm going to throw in the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow, healthy, right? Look at the additions they added on defense. I think they're going to be a sleeper team where a lot of people are going to overlook them, and there's some opportunities for us.
Yeah,
so
I think that's a good pick. Cincinnati is a team that's definitely going to be overlooked.
I like the Chargers too, Jerry.
Yep.
Yep.
They're not going to be overlooked, though.
They won't. They got a great defense.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's it for this segment. And as always, go to sportsexecutioner.com. Subscribe today. It's only $9.89. It's going to go up to $15.89 here probably about a month or so. So get in while it's good and get your subscription and start winning today.
Liv, I think you'll find this interesting. You look at all these different conferences, and of course we mentioned the Big Ten, the Big 12, the SEC, and ACC are the big monsters. But the sports executioner on the college side of the game, we look for opportunity. And one of the conferences I wanted to mention was the American Athletic Conference. And these have teams that you might be familiar with because you watch them once a year, Army-Navy game. UTSA, University Texas at San Antonio, and Tulane, and East Carolina. Those are my 4 top teams going into the ACC schedule this year. And let me just kind of recap a little bit. Last year, Navy was 7-2 in conference. They bring about their same quarterback. They look pretty good. Tulane was 7-1 in conference, and they look like they reloaded nicely. East Carolina was 6-2, and they made some nice moves. And USF was 6-2. So those are my 4 top teams coming out of the AAC conference going into this year. And I want to mention in that conference, you have some other teams. You have Army, obviously. You have Memphis, Tulsa, Florida Atlantic, Temple, North Texas, Rice, UAB, and Charlotte. Now, I'm going to guess that you're out there, and I bet you for every 1,000 viewers we have, there might be 5 people that in their lifetimes have made a bet on the Charlotte football team. Okay? That was probably a good thing because they basically won 1 game last year. However, one of the things we want to pay attention to is there's 12 teams in this conference, and every team is trying to improve. Every team is trying to make some moves. Every team is trying to get an edge. Every team is trying to get home field advantage in their home field in college football. Where we are good at Sports Executioner is looking at conferences like this that are overlooked and finding bets. So when you go to sportsexecutioner.com and you subscribe to our service, what you're going to find is some of these games are going to be in play. Do not overlook them. Just because it's not Michigan versus Ohio State or Texas versus Oklahoma or Georgia versus Alabama, those bets are tough. I will tell you, you want to make those bets, you want to bet Alabama versus Georgia, it's going to be a 2.5 point line, 1.5 point one or the other. But if I got Charlotte playing Navy, Charlotte may be getting 18.5 points. We may look at that and say, that's a cover. 18.5 points is a lot. That's 3 touchdowns. So go to sportsexecutioner.com. Let us do all the hard work for you. We will be making picks out of conferences like the American Athletic Conference. Okay?
So, Jerry, real quick, 18.5 points. You said that's 3 touchdowns. What do you mean by that?
Well, 7-7-7 because 18.5, basically it takes 21 points to beat you. Now you could say, okay, it's 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals, but it's basically when you got 18.5 points, the way I look at it, that's 21 points because it's going to take 19 to beat you. How do you get to 19 points? You got 2 touchdowns, that's 14 and 14. You need another touchdown to get above 19. So it's 3 touchdowns. So it's like 21 points.
Perfect.
Okay? That was a good question too, by the way.
Thank you, sir.
I'm going to write that down. And we're going to go to Magic Mike, who's got always some NFL. And by the way, if you notice when Magic Mike delivers, he loves what he's doing and he knows what he's doing. Don't forget us, sportsexecutioner.com. Okay, Mike, let's go.
All right, a couple current events. Then I'm going to talk about over teams, under the radar teams against the spread this year, who to look for on that front. Sunday. So I said, okay, I went 119-49 in the NBA, my first year, number 1 in the nation, actually. I said, I'm going to go take a look at the Indiana Fever. Caitlin Clark was playing, and they were +6. And so I took them, and they ended up winning 109-75. So I'm 1-0 in the WNBA now.
Oh, good job. Let's keep it going.
And we got the World Cup. I thought this was interesting. Average viewership, $17 million or 17 million viewers a game. When Mexico played England about a week or so ago, 45 million American viewers for that
Wow,
game.
that's amazing.
So that was
That's
pretty,
almost like a Super Bowl
it's
level,
crazy. Yeah, it's
isn't
crazy.
it?
And then Victor Wembanyama. So we wrote him quite a bit in the NBA, and he just signed a 5-year, $252 million deal, and he could have got 304 or $303 million, second largest rookie extension in NBA history, but he wants to be a Spur. So
Yep.
I thought that was cool. So
But and he's only 22 years old, right? Or
yeah, rookie
23?
contract. Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. So let's talk about against the spread. So against the spread, over teams this year. So this is your cheat sheet for 2026. Obviously, we're going to get into it as we get closer. We're going to be able to give you a lot of analysis on why we like them as an over team, who they're playing, where they're playing, the turf, the refs, etc. We get into all those things. That's what we do, and that's why we're the best, frankly. So again, log on to sportsexecutioner.com and just do it already. Subscribe. That's why we're here, okay? So over teams, Rams, Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants, the Jets, the Titans, the Commanders. Those are my over teams. I really think are going to cover a lot of the overs in these games.
When you say overs, you mean
So
total over wins for the season?
total for the score for the game for both teams combined.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Total
44
points.
yeah, total points. Sorry about that, folks. So for 44 and a half, they got to win by 45, etc. Right?
Okay.
Then we have the other side. So these are the under teams against the spread for both teams combined. So that would be Kansas City, Houston Texans. It's going to be the Denver Broncos, the Chargers, the Eagles, and the Saints. So best under teams. Now under the radar teams against the spread, teams we look at and we don't really know, we're just not seeing them, kind of like Charlotte or
Yeah,
some of the
sure.
teams you talk about. So the Vikings are an under the radar team. The Bears, Atlanta, the 49ers, and the Panthers might be, but they've got a tough schedule as well. Then we have what's called public tax warnings, right? This is overhyped teams that have very inflated point spreads because why? Because the betting public bets emotionally, right? They bet with their heart, et cetera, right? So these are teams that you want to take a look at. They win, like I'll give you an example, Denver Broncos, right, Jurgy?
Mm-hmm.
What was their record? 14-3 against the spread, 7-9-1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, other
Not
teams,
good.
not good. Chiefs, Cowboys, Bills, Eagles, Packers, Broncos. Those are all teams that they sometimes you have larger lines and they just don't cover. They'll win, but they just won't cover. So that's it on this segment. As always, bet the favorites early and the dogs late. So bet your favorites early in the week. It's week one. Maybe you're betting on a Monday, right? Maybe a Tuesday, and then as the week goes on, that spread may get bigger. That's when you pick the dogs late. So a line opens up at say -3.5. The team has to win by more than 3 points, right? And then by the end of the week, now it's at say -6.5, right?
Yep.
So you take the +6.5, you take the underdog. So that's the adage, bet the favorites early and the dogs late. So just a tip for the viewers out there.
I do want to tell you, much to everybody's last year or so, Las Vegas has taken a lot of hits. We're based in northern Nevada, in the Reno area. I will tell you, Vegas is alive and well. They're doing very well down there. I can tell you by the cost of my $21 martini and my $110 medium grade steak that you have. They're doing pretty well down there. Okay, so let's go to another conference that's going to be overlooked, and it happens to be a conference that has a lot to do with the state of Nevada. We have two teams that are in this conference in our state, and that's University of Nevada, Reno, UNR, and we have University of Nevada, Las Vegas in Las Vegas. Both of those teams are in the Mountain West. Now, what happened in the off season, Lucky Liv and Magic Mike, was the Mountain West was rated. The Pac-12, which last year had two teams in it, Pac-12, two teams, rated the Mountain West and took a lot of their best teams. So they left. So the conference now is exactly 10 teams. And that hurt them a little bit. So the teams that we're looking for this year, new surprise leader that we would expect to do very well this year would be New Mexico. They were 9-3 last year. UNLV was 11-3 because they went into playoff and bowl game, and they were ranked very highly for this year too, probably second. Air Force, believe it or not, good team. 9-4 last year. I'd rank them number 3 in the conference. And one of the surprise teams in this conference, and I got to hand it to Timmy Chang, who's the quarterback, or was a quarterback at University of Hawaii. They actually had a season. And it's not hard. It's not easy to recruit to Hawaii, even though it's a great place. You think about all the distance to get over there. They were 9-4 last year, and they played some good games. And we made some really good money on them with the sports execution last year, betting Hawaii. There was one game they were losing 21-0 in the first half, and they kind of pulled the whole thing out and won the game. And that was a tremendous team. The other teams are in this conference. Brand new team, North Dakota State. Now, I'm sure a lot of people are not familiar with them, but they've been in Division II for the last 16 years. They've won Division II national title, I think 12 out of 15. They've been a terrific team, North Dakota State. By the way, I've been in North Dakota. I hate the state. Just got to tell you, I feel sorry for anybody living there. I apologize for you North Dakota State fans, but it's not a state that I admire, okay? But they are going to be in this conference, and they're going to be competitive. And they've stepped up from Division II to III. Other teams in this conference: Wyoming, University of Nevada, Reno, which I think is going to be improved, UTEP, San Jose State, and Northern Illinois, which was a strong team last year. They are ranked, I think, in my book, number 10 coming into this season. So that's the Mountain West Conference. And I don't know if either one of you had any questions about me about that conference at all.
Who do you like?
Who do I like?
I was gonna ask
Coming out of this conference, I actually think UNLV has a shot to win this conference. I think they're going to be the best team. They have a great stadium to go to, Allegiant Stadium. We have a subscription drive going right now, $989 if you get in between now and basically a month from now, right, Liv? Yeah. August 15th, we're going to raise the price to $15.89, and that's a bargain then. Listen, we had some people last year, you guys remember, that started with like $1,200, and at the end of the season they had $37,000. If you can find a better handicapping team, go with them, give them your $3,000 or $4,000, or if you're not sure, give us $1,000 and we'll get you set up. Every week you will get 4 college picks and 4 NFL picks. That's 8 games, and you can spread your risk around. But we will actually tell you at certain times we have what we call a hatchet play, which is our top play, which we pick at about 75%. So keep that in mind. Go to sportsexecutioner.com and let's make some money. So Magic Mike, we got a Hall of Fame game coming.
We do.
It's August 6th. Now the teams that are playing in the Hall of Fame game get to start with their practice a little bit early, and that is the Carolina Panthers and the Arizona Cardinals. Now, Liv, you were asking about when these teams start their training camps.
Yes.
July 22nd is what we got. So now, I don't know if I'm a player, if I look forward to training camp. It's grueling. It's tough. And it's, you've got 53 players that have to come out of training camp, and you got 100 players there. So I always think there's 47 players that are trying to knock the other 53 into the dirt. Right. And, they have to stay in dorms, usually in a college dorm, and they have to eat dorm food. And I remember dorm food. It's not that great. And they have to fight for a position, and they have to show up every day and do their job. And if they get cut, that's pretty much the end of their dream.
Oh
okay.
Gosh, a lot on the line.
It's a lot on the line. So anyway, those 2 teams report early around the 22nd, because on August 6th at 5 p.m. on a Thursday is the Hall of Fame game. And believe it or not, we will probably have a play on that game. So get your money in early for the sports execution. We're going to release that. We won the Hall of Fame game last year easily. We had the Chargers over Cleveland. It was an easy win for us, and we put it out. We gave it to people. So, Mike, what do you think is going to be the big difference in the NFL this year? What do you see coming out of this league that we should be paying attention to, and what sort of trends are going to be most important for winners and losers this year?
Yeah, well, I will say I don't think the players like it, but the travel schedule, 8 international games this year. So I think that's good. We're Australia, Mexico. I mean, there's a lot of places. Germany. And it's very exciting for those fans. They never get to see anything like it, right?
Yep.
So very exciting for them. And we're just branching out with the NFL, and that's getting worldwide appeal,
Yeah.
And
You
yeah,
know what's kind of cool about that? You talked about that because the college games kind of picked up on this a little bit. They're not doing near as many, but as many of you know, on August 28th, which is the start of the college football season, the first game that we have goes off at 9 a.m. West Coast time on national TV is TCU versus North Carolina in Dublin, Ireland, which I think is cool. We're just these two college teams going into Dublin, and fans have already sold out the game. It's going to be on national TV, and
Have they really sold out?
oh yeah, they sell out within 15 minutes. Oh yeah, and Dublin's a great city to watch football. I mean, of course they love their soccer and they love their rugby too. So
and they love their beer.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
of course.
So that's going to be exciting. I would tell you what I see the big trend in college football. What I think is affecting the game. We basically have, if I can say this professionally, we have a two-class system. We have the class that I was talking about earlier. We have the Big Ten, the Big 12, the SEC, and the ACC, and these are the teams that all have somewhere between 15 million and maybe up to 40 million dollars in the bank to buy players. Basically, to buy players, to pay players to play. And then you have the other 71 teams that have maybe 200,000-300,000 in their budget, or they might have 5 million. But if the Big Ten wants a player, and if you're in the ACC conference and you're trying to recruit that player, forget about it.
Yeah.
The kid's sitting there and they're going to give him $1 million a year. He's 18 years old. He's going to go off to one of those big conferences. That division has gotten to be stronger. Congress is now talking about it, trying to figure out ways to corral this, to make it a little more fair, but they have not figured it out. So the big trend is the big players, the big teams, the big money schools are going to get better. And the small money schools are just kind of working their tails off to keep up. So that's the big trend I see. And that's why, all the eyeballs are on these big conferences when they play. Again, I look at it as an opportunity as a sports handicapper. Everybody focus on those 4 conferences. We'll focus on the other 71 teams. Okay, that's where we're going to make our money. Okay, that's what I got for this segment. I think we can easily wrap up and plan on having a bang up session next week. We're trying to fill up this time because we don't have anything to talk about specifically about a team. But, I think we are doing okay. We got some good information here, some good tips, and we look forward to having you all subscribe to the Sports Executioner. Please go to our website, subscribe today. Thank you.
Also, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments or DM us.
Sports Executioner!